Learn English with LCS Podcasts. Stay curious, stay ahead.
Hey everyone, welcome to the very first episode of the LCS podcast. I'm Henry.
And I'm Anna.
On this channel, we create podcasts for all levels, beginner to advanced. Our goal is to make content that's easy to understand, but also helps you improve your English step by step.
And here's something you should know. We've been learners too. English wasn't our first language, so we totally get it. Learning a language can be exhausting, especially if the people around you don't speak English. Sometimes it even feels like you're forgetting everything you've learned so far.
Totally. But here's the thing. If you stick to a learning routine, you can not only learn new things, but also maintain everything you've already learned. It could be anything you enjoy, reading, watching videos, or listening to podcasts.
Yup. Personally, I loved listening to podcasts. They helped me a lot, especially when I was too tired to read or study. And that's why we decided to start our own podcast, so you have a reliable source for your learning time.
Exactly. All right, let's jump into today's topic. But before we start, just so you know, at the end of this episode, we'll go through a keyword breakdown. We'll explain important words and phrases we use so you can add them to your vocabulary.
Great. So, Henry, what's your occupation?
Well, that's an interesting question. I'm still studying, but I also have a part-time job.
Ooh, a part-time job. I want to hear about that. What do you do?
Okay, but first, do you remember the acoustic guitar I bought a couple of weeks ago?
The black one? Yeah, I remember. It was beautiful.
Well, I sold it.
Wait, why?
Because that's my job. I buy broken or undervalued items online, fix them, and sell them for more.
Wow, that's clever. So you're like a trader?
Kind of, but I don't really like that word. Most people think a trader just sits behind a screen, analyzing charts all day. I believe real trading happens in person. You need to see your customers' reactions, understand what they want, and convince them to buy your product.
That's smart. It's like you're not just selling things, you're building trust.
Exactly. And the best part is, you can start with zero money. My first trade was completely free. I saw a sofa online that someone wanted to give away because they didn't have space. I picked it up, cleaned it, and after 2 months, I sold it for $50. That's when I really understood the saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
I love that. It's so true. And it's a good reminder that sometimes we don't realize the value in things until we give them attention.
Exactly, but I have to admit, sometimes I wish I could earn more. I try my best, but some things are just out of my control.
I understand. Sometimes I feel the same. But then I think about my father. He was a firefighter. He risked his life every single day, not just for a short time, but for decades. And even after all that, his salary wasn't nearly enough. Some jobs truly deserve more recognition.
Wow, that makes sense. That reminds me of my uncle. He served in the military and lost his hearing during the war. After that, he got paid very little. He risked his life for his country, but they treated him like just an extra.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Yeah, but he got used to it and kept going with life. People like him are real heroes, even if the world doesn't always see it.
Henry, I think sometimes it's more important where you work than what you do. Your talent might not be valued in one place, but in another, it could be life-changing.
True. Like a bottle of water can cost 4 times more in an airport than outside.
Ha ha ha, exactly. Context matters.
So true. Speaking of context, Amma, let's talk about your job. You're a nurse, right?
Yep. At first, I got into nursing because I was interested in the medical side of things. But honestly, talking to patients was hard for me in the beginning. Comforting someone who is bleeding or in pain isn't easy at all.
I can imagine.
You really need patience and resilience. Hospitals can be stressful, and you deal with anxiety almost every day. But there are also really rewarding moments.
Like what?
One day, my boss called me into his office, and I saw a basket full of flowers with a letter saying I was a hero for taking care of a patient's grandmother. I was so tired that day, but that small gesture gave me a huge sense of satisfaction.
That's amazing. I bet it made you feel proud.
Not exactly proud, more like content. Like, wow, I really helped someone today. It was a feeling that made all the tiredness worth it.
I get that. Nurses are heroes in my eyes.
Thanks. That's so kind.
So, what's the hardest part of your job, Amma?
Probably the stress and the unpredictability. You never know what will happen next. One moment, everything is calm, and the next moment, someone comes in with a serious emergency. You have to be ready for anything.
Wow, that sounds intense.
It is, but the good moments, like seeing a patient recover or receiving a thank you, make it all worth it.
That's amazing. I think that's true for almost every job. Stressful moments exist, but small wins make it worth it.
Exactly. And speaking of jobs, I think it's interesting how people sometimes underestimate part-time jobs or unconventional careers, but every role has its own value.
Totally agree. Even my little trading business teaches me a lot about people, responsibility, and problem solving.
Right. Every job teaches skills you can use in life, even if it doesn't feel like it at first.
Absolutely. All right, I think we've talked enough for today. Amma, you can take a break while I go through the key vocabulary we mentioned.
Thanks, Henry. And thank you to everyone listening. I hope you enjoyed our conversation and found it useful. See you in the next episode.
Thanks again, Amma. All right, let's dive into those keywords. Occupation, meaning your job or profession, for example. My occupation is teaching, and I love it. Consistency, meaning doing something regularly without giving up. For example, consistency in practicing English will help you improve much faster. Resilience, meaning the ability to recover from difficulties. For example, after losing the competition, he showed great resilience and trained harder. Gesture, meaning a small act that shows feelings. For example, she smiled and waved, a simple gesture of kindness. Convince, meaning to make someone believe or agree with you. For example, I convinced my brother to join me at the gym. Satisfaction, meaning a feeling of pleasure when something goes well. For example, I felt deep satisfaction after finishing my first marathon. Innovative, meaning using new ideas or methods. For example, the company created an innovative device to save energy. Unpredictable, meaning not expected, always changing. For example, the weather in spring is so unpredictable. Devoted, meaning giving a lot of time or love to something. For example, she is devoted to helping animals in need. Maintain, meaning to keep something in good condition or at the same level. For example, he maintains his health by eating well and exercising. Valuable, meaning very useful or important. For example, my grandmother gave me a valuable lesson about kindness. Undervalued, meaning not given enough importance or worth. For example, teachers are often undervalued despite their hard work. Context, meaning the situation that helps explain the meaning. For example, the meaning of words can change depending on the context. Gesture of appreciation, meaning a small action to show gratitude. For example, bringing coffee for your coworker is a nice gesture of appreciation. Hero, meaning someone admired for bravery or good deeds. For example, my mother is my hero because she never gives up. Thank you so much for joining us on our very first episode. We really hope you learned something new today and maybe even felt inspired by our stories. If you liked this episode, please follow our podcast, share it with your friends, and stay tuned for more conversations just like this one. Take care of yourselves, keep learning, and remember, consistency is the key. I'm Henry, and this was the LCS Podcast. See you in the next one. Bye for now.